Alert for you. Big business jumping off the global warming bandwagon faster than the snow is piling up outside. BP, CONOCO, and Caterpillar all dropping out of this U.S. climate action partnership. This coming a day after Donald Trump suggested that Al Gore should consider turning in his Nobel Prize. And the Donald himself telling me earlier that the companies probably saw the writing on the wall when ClimateGate first erupted.
They probably see the email that was sent a couple of months ago by one of the leaders of global warming, the initiative, and, almost saying, I guess they're saying it's a con. And, they see things like that. They see the fact that in Washington, where I'm building a big development, nobody can move because we have 48 inches of snow. And the snow isn't melting because it's so cold. And in New York, we've had the coldest winter on record. And all over Europe, by the way, I have friends in Europe, they're freezing. It's so cold. It's never been colder.
But Donald, I talked to a lot of the environmentalists and global warmers, whatever you call them, who have been saying, well, this is global warming. This is what happens.
Well, the problem we have is that the world is also got to play the game. And we're scrubbing our coal, and we're doing all sorts of things that are making our products much more expensive and non-competitive. And places like China, do you think they scrub coal? Well, I doubt it. Japan, India. Do you really believe that India's out there scrubbing their coal to make it nice and clean? I don't think so, Neil.
So you think we're stuck with the burden of doing all
Well, we do it, but they don't do it. They talk a good game, and they talk like, oh, well, we'll do it. I watched as one of the big representatives from China was talking about global warming, and I know that underneath he's laughing because I know a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs and business people from China, they laugh at our stupidity as a country.
Now, these companies that sort of said, all right, we're parting ways, Mr. President, do you think this is the beginning of a floodgate?
Well, I do think so. I think that the memorandum or whatever it was that they found a few months ago was devastating by the leaders of the movement of global warming. I think that was devastating because that basically said, you people are a bunch of jerks to follow us, and we're just kidding. And I really think that was the beginning. And now, a lot of people like me have been saying this for a long time. We've been out. We've been watching. In 1928, they had a magazine cover, a major magazine, talking about global cooling. And it is. It's probably getting a little bit warmer. And then in a number of years or decades, it'll get a little bit cooler. But to think that you can't use hairspray in your bathroom because it's going to destroy the ozone, I mean, it's called give me a break.
Well, that would be fatal for me if that were the case.
It'd be bad for me too, Neil.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what happens right now, because you have said, given the cold weather that we've been experiencing, I don't know whether you're kidding or not, that Al Gore, maybe the Nobel Committee should rethink that prize for him.
Well, no, I was just using that as an example. I like Al Gore. He's a nice man, but he got the Nobel Prize on something that I don't believe he should have gotten the Nobel Prize for. And I said that tongue-in-cheek. I said that sarcastically, and it was picked up as though it were. Obviously, you're not taking it back, but certainly, you just have to look at what's happening throughout the world. It's crazy.
I want to switch gears.
The biggest problem, Neil, is that it's putting this country at a competitive disadvantage. Yeah. Now, I believe strongly in clean energy and conserving energy and all of that, more than anybody. But it's putting this country, in terms of the words global warming, at a huge competitive disadvantage.
The World Trade Center. Now the latest talk is you might be in on bidding. Where does this stand? Well,
I've looked at it, and I have great respect for the people at the Port Authority, and I have very solidly looked at it. And, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I have property in downtown Manhattan, but they have some very good people looking at it, and we'll see how it comes out.
When you say you're looking at it, to do what?
Well, they're actually out with a request for proposal on the redevelopment of the World Trade Center Tower, which has already been started. I think it's a very smart move by the Port Authority, and I think it's going to get built, and I hope it's going to be successful.
Yeah, but when? I mean, this is sort of like, almost a decade after 9/11, and I go down there all the time, and, this ain't moving fast.
Well, it's on the late side. There's no doubt. This was not the Wollman skating rink that got built in record time.
That's right, that's right.
This is taking a long time, but they're doing the right thing, and they're on the right track.
All right, but for those outside New York going familiar with the Wollman skating rink, this is something that politicians have been arguing back and forth. You took it over, built it in what seemed like days, and it was done.
Well, they spent 7 years trying to build an ice skating rink, and I did it in 3 months.
So let me ask you then, if you were to make a serious bid for the World Trade Center, in part or in whole, would you speed the process up of this?
Well, I'm a very good builder, and what I do best in life is build, and it would be built in record time, and it would come in under budget, because that's been my history. I know how to build.
All right, real quickly on the economy, you think we're coming back?
I think you're coming back. I think you're going to remain sort of even for a while, and then lots of good decisions have to be made. But I think we're going to start coming back.